Hello, everybody. I'm John Masters. I'm surviving in the Trump shutdown. This is day 22. Day 22. I have no government assistance whatsoever. I don't get any money for housing. I don't get any money from Social Security. I don't get any money for food stamps. I don't get any money for health care. I get nothing from the government. I do have, actually, crippling college debt for my undergraduate degree, political science. That's fine. I don't mind that. But Spalding University for 2 fucking years, I did everything that they told me to do, and that ended up fucking me over. So they owe me $50,000 to $60,000. That's my analysis of that. I am not a happy customer. I gave them $50,000, and they didn't give me a product that I wanted. And the reason why is because they're fascist, totalitarian pieces of shit. And I said, hey, what if we aren't totalitarian, fascist pieces of shit? What if we do it differently? What? And I just asked it, right? You can't even question it. It wasn't like, hey, let's topple this regime. Let's take this whole totalitarian, let's just tear it down. No, y'all keep your jobs. It's okay, but I can't think of different ways. I can't think of alternative education and somehow make a career of that. I can't do a demonstration. I can't teach a class called alternative education. In fact, if you don't have a class called alternative education in your teacher training schools, don't even fucking go to that teacher training. Teacher training comes from Prussia. All this shit comes from Prussia. PhDs and all the hats and all those regalia, all that stupid shit. They are a bunch of stuck-up fucking assholes, and half of them don't know shit. So, yeah, university, I go to university. That's all they learn. They learn that they can be fucking stuck-up snobs and then razzle and dazzle the simple working folk with, you know, their big fancy words and ideas, and they put ism on everything, right? Paternalism and neoliberalism and ism this, ism that. Everything's a fucking ism. Jesus Christ. That's why I like socialism. I like socialism because if you talk to communists, they'll be like, I'm a Leninist, I'm a Maoist, I'm a Marxist, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a this, I'm a that, and then they argue about, I'm socialist, okay? I'm socialist, and that just means that I'm a capitalist socialist. I'm a capitalist socialist because I believe in, we have a right to food, water, clothing, and shelter. So that's Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Of course we all need food, water, clothing, and shelter. In fact, if you're a mother or father and you have children that don't have food, water, clothing, and shelter, get food, water, clothing, and shelter by any means necessary. Get your goddamn kids. Take care of your kids. Get them in a house. Get them in, you know, a shelter. Give them some warmth. Give them some clothing, some blankets. Give me a fucking break. If you don't have bread, take bread. If you ain't got water, take the water. Don't fucking starve to death, for shit's sake. So this whole thing actually is just, I want to go over this statistic, okay? Donald Trump had this statistic that 4,000 people had died in the last 2 years, and usually everybody just says, oh, he's a liar, and just assumes everything he says is wrong. Most of the things he says is right. He is off and skewed on some other fucking planet on some statistics, so it's kind of like, where'd he come up with that? But I remember he had said something about how he's got to be 100% right, even a tenth of 1% off. So that is true. As soon as Donald Trump makes a slight mistake, right, Stephen Colbert's like, yay, you know, Daddy needs his num-nums. So Stephen Colbert likes it when Donald Trump, you know, they take a little drink of a glass. He does it something that has nothing to do with policy. It's got nothing to do with the country. But we get to look at the president and laugh at him and say, ha-ha, he don't even know how to drink water right. So 1/10 of 1%. So I would say most of what he says is true. So I looked up this number, okay? And so 4,000 in the last 2 years, that'd be 2,000 killed. And, you know, each year, right? 4,000 over 2 divided in 2, so it's 2,000 per year. Well, that's appalling. That's crazy. One murder is too fucking much. One murder is too much. So I'm going to go through this PolitiFact article that said it was false, but the explanation was bullshit. The explanation made me believe the opposite. They should have put, you know, mostly false or, you know, mostly true or something, but they give it a flat false, not true. It is true. So there's Okay, the PolitiFact, so that's the number we're looking at. 4,000 over 2 years? Can the illegals have killed 4,000 in 2 years? Well, we got 11 million illegals that live in this country, which is the fault of the American people and the Congress for not passing an immigration law this millennium. Regardless, illegal immigrants are unauthorized. That's better than alien. Illegals are better than aliens. And that's what they are. We're a nation of laws, and that's a gap in the law. And you stupid fuckers, you American people, you're going to sit there and say what? They just should stay in the shadows forever and ever? No, you need a law. You need a law. And if you have any compassion, liberals, if you give a shit about the 11 million people, you would push for a pathway to citizenship. So there's 11 million illegals here. 25,000 family units are coming in every month illegally. So is it possible that out of 11 million here already and the 25,000 coming in every month, family units, so that could be, what, 50,000, that perhaps 1,000 or 2,000 murders is possible? I think it's probably probable. I think it's very likely that it's 2,000 or 1,000, or let's split the difference, 1,500. But one is too many, so 1,000 is too many, 1,500 and 2,000, it's all too many. So what the PolitiFact article said, it was false, but the explanation was bullshit. So it said in 2018, there was 228 offenses, okay? But that was 387 charges and 1641 convictions. Okay, that's 2,000 motherfuckers. That's exactly what he said, that there, you know, some were charged and some were convictions. This actually breaks it down to most were convictions of murder. 1641. PolitiFact article acknowledged that 1641 were convicted of murder, but only 387 were just charged with it. So they're trying to say, well, it really wasn't 2,000, it was 1641. 1,886 homicide incidents from October 1, 2016 to September 30, 2017. So here's another thing that PolitiFact is doing. They're just poking holes, but they don't sink this ship. This is a true fucking fact. This is true. 2,000, 1,000 Americans are getting killed by illegals. So, you know, put it in context, 80,000 Americans got killed by the flu. 80,000. The flu, the common cold. Nobody should ever die of the flu. They couldn't get enough water and rest and peace. How can somebody die of the flu? Not enough water, rest, and peace. What kind of fucking nation couldn't give people enough water, rest, and peace that they got to die of the common cold? You gotta let it go through your system, but just what? Food, water, clothing, shelter? Oh, that's right. We're right-wing capitalist pieces of shit. We're gonna let you die, because fuck you. So, what PolitiFact went ahead and done, PolitiFact went and gone and done this, they went ahead and said that it wasn't the year of 2016, it wasn't the year of 2017, it was actually from October to September. So between that range, there's only 1,886. So there's not 2,000, it's just 1,886, which rounds up to 1,900, which rounds up to 2,000. Numbers aren't perfect. Unemployment numbers aren't perfect. Unemployment is between 4 to 7%, using the U3 or the U6 level. Or 62%, right? 62% of Americans don't fucking work for somebody else. Most Americans don't work for someone else. Which means, how the fuck is most Americans surviving? They don't have a fucking job. 62% of Americans, yeah, I'm sure some are old and some are young, but what the fuck is the rest? 62%, it's not 47%. 62% of Americans ain't doing their part. So, they also said that homicide could be first-degree murder, or it could just be manslaughter, right? And even though manslaughter is a lesser charge, that sounds really fucking bad. No, you're not convicted of murder. You just slaughtered a man. You just slaughtered a man, but you didn't mean to. So that's accidental death, or you killed in the heat of the moment, or negligence. So manslaughter is somehow supposed to be a little bit different than, it's still murder. The negligence, accidental, kill in the heat, that's still fucking murder. So they just try to peel it away, right? No, it's not the right time frame. No, really, there was 400 were just charged, and 1,600 were the kills. But between the time frame, it was just 1,900 murders, not 2,000. And it wasn't all murder, right? It was just 1,900 murders, and some of them was just manslaughter. So yeah, 11 million illegals here, 25,000 illegals coming in every month. American people hasn't passed a fucking immigration law. They haven't pushed their fucking Congress. 329 million. You think 329 million people would get their way over 545? That's over 500,000 per representative. If I was a representative and 500,000 people was knocking on my door, I'd be like, oh shit, I need to pass immigration reform right away. Okay, all right. We'll take care of poverty. We'll go take care of the homelessness, education, health care, immigration, crime. We got it. We'll take care of all this. Sorry about that, American people. So yeah, there it is. Overall, in the big scheme of things, flu, pneumonia, these are the biggest killers. Unintentional injuries are up there. Alzheimer's disease, chronic lower respiratory disease, kidney disease, heart disease, cancer, suicide, diabetes, and stroke. Suicide, that's mental health care. So unintentional injuries. That could be some gun deaths, but that also could just be falling down the stairs. So just, be careful out there, America. Be safe, be cautious around yourself and around others. But if you just take the top 10 represents 74% of all the deaths, so those represent most of the deaths in the top 10. 9 of them are health care. And 11% is the fucking flu and pneumonia. 80,000 was killed in 2017 of the flu. So if we're just going to go with numbers, well, we shouldn't give a shit about the cops. Cops killed, 2,500 in the last 3 years. The illegals are killing more than the cops are killing. The illegals are killing less than the flu. The flu and disease and pneumonia and Alzheimer's and respiratory, kidney, heart, cancer, diabetes, suicide, strokes, cancer, heart, kidney. These are health. Healthcare is killing all of us. Healthcare is killing and then, yeah, some of us get old, so it's just, well, they're old, right? So old people die. We all die. But healthcare, the fucking flu, nobody should die of the fucking flu and all that shit. We could do better. So most people are dying of lack of healthcare. 80%, 80,000. People said 40,000 died without, no, 80,000. The flu? Yeah, you should have died of the flu. No, you should have died of your brain stopping or your heart stopping, not of the flu eventually seeping into your brain and heart until they stop. So the cops killed 1,100 in 2015, and they killed 1,100 in 2016. 52% were white. So they're killing mostly white people, right? Cops are just killing white people all over the place under Obama. But actually last year, only 458. That's the only thing I could find, but it was a little mean shot. But it was compared about how many people were shot by cops in America, so it was made to look like it was huge, right? So 458 people have been killed by cops in the United States, including 2 people in Saguache County, 8 in Germany, and 0 in Japan, and 0 in Britain. 0. None. How many people did the cops kill in Britain? How many people did the cops kill in Japan? None. 0. And yet, cops in America killed 458, which is way less than what they had done previously. So really, we should congratulate. Cops are killing a lot. Thank you, American police officers. You guys are killing a lot less these days. So compared to the illegals, more illegals are killing Americans than the cops are. But more flu and pneumonia and kidney disease and heart disease and diabetes, cancer, are killing more Americans than gun deaths, homicides, opioid deaths, traffic accidents, healthcare. That's the number one. So if we're going to look at the data. If we're going to look at the data sounds not data. What would the working class say? Data, right? We're going to look at the data. The data says that the flu and pneumonia is killing most of us. Universal health care, not having universal health care is a fucking crisis. Not the gun deaths, not the homicides, not the cop deaths, not the illegals killing anybody, but universal health care. If we were to go for a number 2 thing, 17,000 Americans were killed. So the illegals represent 2,000 of 17,000. Why the fuck is so many people getting shot by, the Americans are taking care of each other, right? They're taking each other out. They don't have to be afraid of immigrants. They don't have to be afraid of the police. They don't have to be afraid of anybody. Each other. They just need to be afraid of each other, really. But then in the grand scheme of things, so comparing by the numbers, flu and pneumonia is the worst. But it's 80,000, which is Vietnam numbers, but we're 329 million. So I'm actually kind of only 80,000, only 17,000 were, only 2,000 were. I mean, over 329 million people. We're pretty fucking safe, and that's what crime is going down. Property crime is going down. So a lot of crime is going down. It's pretty safe and comfortable for the most of us. So I think it's up to the people at the border. I would be for Tulsi Gabbard to build a wall. But fuck Donald, right? I think we need a wall at the big cities between San Diego and Tijuana. But I think what's more important is that we actually attack the problem at the root. The problem is the war on drugs. When we pass out U.S. aid to all these different countries, we tie U.S. aid in with the war on drugs. We make their country declare war on drugs, and then we give them so much money. As long as they declare war on drugs, then they get American money. So we are doing 2 things. America is buying a shit ton of cocaine and heroin and meth and all these illegal shit from where the fuck ever. I don't see no poppy fields around here. So we're getting it from Afghanistan, we're getting it from Mexico. Marijuana is still being caught at the border, so marijuana is like the #1 drug coming across the border. But we have a right to our own bodies. The war on drugs is a hypocritical policy because Americans are buying all the drugs that Mexicans are making, but then they're also supplying the government money that's saying that you need to declare a war on drugs. So all you're doing is just exacerbating the situation. You have one solution in the war on drugs. That will solve the cartel problem. That will solve a lot of the violence and a lot of the economic and migrants who are coming across the border. There's 20 of them that was killed and burned right at the border. They said they needed help. They said they were afraid for their lives. Now 20 of them just got fucking killed. And it's on their side, so we're not even going to think about it, are we? But 20 of them was just dumped on their fucking border. They needed help. So we need to fix the problem at the root. And we need a Marshall Plan, so we need to get them some infrastructure. We need to build hospitals and schools, and we need to help their country with good stuff, not just giving them McDonald's, not allowing Chiquita Banana and the oil and gas companies to rape the shit out of everybody. While they provide jobs, we need socialist programs, build hospitals, and build schools for Central America. That's what the Marshall Plan money should be for. And we need to end the war on drugs. So whether we get a wall or not, I mean, a wall would help the incoming flux of people. Of course it would. But we're not attacking the problem at the root. We got to also attack the problem at the root. So a big-ass wall all along Mexico, I don't know. You have to pay attention. You get somebody that really knows what the fuck is going on and that's honest, okay? If you're just a big Trump fucking dick sucker, if you're just a big left-wing Democrat asshole, fuck both of you guys, okay? The wall would help for big cities, so that's what George W. Bush, I believe in George W. Bush's plan for immigration. Pass that. So that's a wall for the cities. Not a wall over through deserts and out of nowhere. They said even a little bit of fencing. Somebody said that most of the illegals cross where there's no fencing. Well, of course. I mean, that's the best place to cross. Why would you go to where there's a fence? Go to where there's not a fence. Having a fence would be a deterrent from having people crossing over illegally. So I think in the short term, we do have to, have border security, drones, and all that technology and shit to make sure we don't have any leakage. We don't need porous borders. We need a strong, solid wall. We need a wall of border agents, or we need an actual wall. You know, or some kind of fencing. I think a barbed wire for like a lot big of, you know, just some barbed wire and like stick fence, like just a fucking post and barbed wire. It would be easy to cross, but it does two things. It says this is where America is, this is where Mexico is. So the sovereignty and the jurisdictional issues are, you go ahead and clear it up there. But it's another deterrent. So every single deterrent that you could put, you know, I would actually like the money to be spent on my property. I need fence. Put a fence around my property, because I don't want people walking up on my property. I don't want trespassers. I don't want animals. I don't want people driving up on my property. So put a wall up, and then I get privacy. Then I'll have a dog, and then I can put up a camera. Then I could have a, you know, a motion detector, a light that turns on whenever there's motion. And then I'll be able to leave and then come back, and all my stuff will still be there. Without that, you know, I think the whole fucking system is going to collapse. And I'm not for sure if farm collectives is the solution either. So the argument to me, what it seems like to me, is would you rather have some guy walking around your property all day long and you pay him, you know, 10, 20 bucks an hour, or would you rather build a fence? And then they'll say maintenance cost, and then to man it and all this other shit. Yeah, you have to pay it once it's up there, but it really, once you built the damn thing, it'll last for a while. So that's the point of building it, is that you don't want to pay labor and pay people to do it. So it's one level of deterrent. For security, any level of deterrent that you can put on to stop people from trespassing is a good thing. So I think in the short term that I will not give Trump his wall. I do not want a big fucking wall along the Mexico border. But I think putting something to mark our property, to mark our boundary, is a smart thing to do. And then I also believe in the big cities having some kind of wall that prevents people from crossing over is a good idea too. It stops people from pouring into the city. I mean, that's got to be pretty scary to be in the city and then everybody lives in the shadows, like I said before. So yeah, the 4,000 people that have been killed in the last 2 years that's true. It's a true statement. So the liberals, you need to pull your heads out of here. If you're for open borders, no, we need fucking borders. Without a border, we don't have a goddamn fucking country. So we need borders. So yes, if MS-13, quit allowing fucking criminals. What the fuck are you doing? Quit. He's painting you all up as a bunch of fucking criminal motherfuckers who don't give a shit about the law. And frankly, I can't stand criminals. People that rape and hurt others, people that rape and murder and steal and set people on fire, and, you know, the big things. Violence, pedophiles. The drugs, I think, is the war on drugs. So a lot of times drugs is associated with the criminal, but it's criminal because the law makes it criminal. If we had dispensaries for cocaine and heroin and meth everywhere, there'd be no reason to buy it illegally. We would put Mexican cartels out of business the moment we end the war on drugs. Nixon's war on drugs has not worked. Drugs are all over the fucking place. We got drug stores. Drugs are good. Drugs get rid of pain. And people are going after heroin, and then they're going after the pharmaceutical companies and suing the shit out of them. But what did the pharmaceutical companies do? What did those doctors who overprescribed those drugs, what did they do? They gave their patients a pain-free life, a pain-free existence. Oxycontin, Percocet, Vicodin are very good drugs. They take your pain away. So some people might say that's the purpose of life. You run towards pleasure. You run away from pain towards pleasure. So to get rid of pain, especially for old people get back problems, and old people have, you know, they just fall apart. To give them some pain medicine, I think they should be taken care of. And to, you know, I think that the war on drugs is just, we're fucking spinning out of control with this thing. So I guess that's about it. Overall, most of us aren't dying every year. That's a good thing. 80,000 of us are dying. That's fucking ridiculous. Some of us have a death sentence with poverty. Some of us have a death sentence because we have no health care. Some of us have a death sentence because we're homeless. The homelessness, the reason why I like to point out the homeless argument, especially this time, we could build 500,000 houses for $10,000 a piece, which is $5 billion. So the same amount that it costs for the fence, for the wall that Donald wants, actually he wants 5.7 now, so he wants $6 billion. We got public lands, build those fucking houses, and now we have cured homelessness. So the same fucking price for the wall is how we could also cure homelessness. So what's more fucking important to you, America? The homelessness crisis? We got American kids, right? Hey, racist. Hey, white supremacist. Hey, Steve King, right? You don't have a problem with the word white supremacist? White supremacist, meaning not, be proud of your white heritage. Be proud of your white culture if you want to. I personally am not. I don't look at white people as a monolith. I like my German heritage, my Bohemian heritage, and I got 10%, 11% African in me. I like it all. I like all of it. And I think the Bavarian and the Bohemian, Austrian and Prussian and African parts of me adds a little bit of flavor. It shows me I got roots. And as families, as parents, you got to give your kids roots and wings. Roots and wings. You need them both. But in terms of who the fuck is homeless, we got veterans that are fucking homeless. We got kids that are homeless. We got middle-aged, old, young, male, female. Everybody. All stripes. All over the fucking place. And they don't have a chance in the world. They don't have a chance in the world. Eventually, I don't know if they started out being pieces of shit, but eventually they degenerate into fucking, they had to survive. So what the fuck, without health care, without a place to shit, without water, and eating through the fucking dumpster and shit? Jesus. And then we got all these empty houses, 22 empty houses per homeless person. That's just a coordination failure right there. So the same price it would take to build a fucking wall to beat your racist, xenophobic fucking selves is the same price it would take care of your own fucking American children, your own American veterans, your own goddamn American people living on the fucking streets. But Americans don't care about each other, so they'd rather do the xenophobic fucking bullshit than to build. Trump Tower. Put a big Trump Tower out in the fucking desert. You want your name on something? Trump ended homelessness. Trump ended poverty. Right? He compares himself to Lincoln. Lincoln freed the slaves. Did Trump free anybody? Did he free anybody up? Did he free the? He didn't free the slaves. He didn't free the wage slaves. So what's Trump's legacy going to be? Yeah. So there is an immigration crisis, liberals. So quit ignoring it. 4,000 is ridiculous. It's fucking bullshit.